Oh, I did not see you there. You must be waiting to see the king. That's why I'm here. Maybe you're seeking the king for his wisdom, his favor. Maybe there's some urgent business that you want to discuss with him. I'm still kind of getting used to this place, or shall I say, palace. So as you are sitting down, I see a seat, so let me sit down. Okay. I don't know how long you're going to wait for the king, but since we're waiting, let me introduce myself to you. Shalom. My name is Montavilla. What a name that is. My parents gave it to me. It means contender against Baal. You're probably familiar with the false god Baal. Who knows, maybe some of you give allegiance to Baal, the so-called god of weather, or the so-called god of fertility. But my parents said you need to stand up against Baal and what he represents. Now, it's been a long, long time since anyone's called me by my birth name, Montavilla. People call me by a different name. I pray no one here calls me by this name. But the name is Mephibosheth. Mephibosheth. It's hard to pronounce. Mephibosheth. It's hard to spell. Tell me about it. Its name, Mephibosheth, means seething shame, dishonor. Who would want to be called that? What human being would call another human being seething shame? But that's what people called me. My friends, and I don't have a lot of friends, but some of my friends tell me that name, seething shame, has affected how I see myself. They're probably right. After all, what honor can I bring my family? What honor could I bring my community when I'm like this? I'm lame in my feet. I'm crippled. What value, what purpose do I have? But I've been here in this palace for about 3 months, and since my time here, I am questioning, I am reevaluating how I see myself. I'm not a mind reader. I don't know what questions that you're thinking about, but people want to know often, what's your story? Were you born this way? Was this a disease that you got? Was there an accident? And why are you so special that you get to live in the king's palace? And so, as you wait for the king, do you want to know my story? I see a couple nods, and so I will tell you. I'm no political official. I have no family connection to King David. But as I think about living in this palace, I am in awe. I have so much joy. You see, how did I get crippled? I was 5 years old when it happened. I still remember that day vividly. Maybe you have a day in your life that you wish you could just erase from your memory. Maybe something was said to you, something was done to you. For me, it was that day when I was 5 years old. It started out. It was a gorgeous spring-like day, like it is today. And I was in my room playing a game that you probably played when you grew up, called Israelites and Philistines. And I'm just playing, and I hear the first sound. There was 3 sounds that I heard that day that I can't etch out of my mind. The first sound I heard was the sound of a horse galloping. And it got louder and louder and louder. The second sound was a man's voice saying, "Take the boy and run. Take the boy and run. The king is dead. The prince is dead. Take the boy and run." Well, that caused chaos in my house. Was the report true? Because if it was true, we need to leave. If the king and the prince is truly dead, then whoever defeated Israel would come after their family. That would be me. Now, what happens next is sort of a blur. I don't know exactly what happened. I asked my nanny, I've asked the nurse, I've asked other people. They won't tell me. But certainly, my nurse picked me up to carry me out in a hurry. And I don't know exactly what happened, but she probably tripped. And I fell to the ground. And here was the third sound that I can't get out of my mind. I heard my ankles snap. I was shattered by that fall. Next thing I remember, waking up in the middle of nowhere. I grew up and really lived all my life in the town that you probably even heard of called Lo Debar. It means no pasture. It's a physical wasteland. It's a place where people go to hide. It's a place where you are forgotten. It's a place of insignificance. And I wanted to leave, but what can I do? I'm crippled. I don't know how you view people who are crippled, disabled, can't walk. Many people view it as a curse. Maybe my parents did something. Maybe I did something. Maybe I don't have enough faith to be healed. Because of what other people viewed me, I was loaded with guilt and shame. Do you know the difference between guilt and shame? Guilt is you do something that is wrong. Shame is who you are is wrong. Because of my crippled condition, I experienced all this verbal and physical abuse. That's all I'm going to say about that. Loneliness consumed me. I was filled with bitterness. I was full of blame. I blamed everyone. Do you know what happens when a person is full of blame? There is no room for grace. Maybe you are here and because of your circumstances, all you do are blaming other people. Or maybe that's not you, but you know somebody. And they're always pointing the finger at other people. That was me. Blame is often a commentary on one's hidden or unresolved sin. Or it could be the unaddressed trauma And so if that's not dealt with, you're going to be full of blame. Blame is a commentary of the blamer. I'm a living testimony of that. That's what I did. I just blamed, and I blamed. So I just told you how I got this way, but I haven't told you who I am. My grandfather was King Saul. My father was Prince Jonathan. And the irony is you're here waiting to speak to the king for some reason. And if my grandfather and father were killed in battle, you would be here seeking me. That I would be king. This palace would be mine. But now it's King David. And everyone loves and adores King David. That's me right now. But when I was growing up, I had mixed feelings about David. On one hand, I heard about the friendship that he had with my father. And there was all these stresses and pressure that was put on their friendship, but their friendship endured. But I also heard that David lived for a time with the Philistines. That's a traitor. Who could do such a thing? How could you trust someone like that? One of the things I'm learning about myself is that seeds of mistrust get planted in one's heart, and they may even grow if you don't know the person and their heart and their motive. I didn't know David, and so I had all this mistrust regarding David because I didn't know him. So let me tell you, I told you all this to lead you to what happened 3 months ago. I'm there in my home in the middle of nowhere, Lo Debar, and there's a knock on the door, and it's a messenger from the king saying, you need to come to Jerusalem. Actually, it wasn't even a request. I was summoned by the king. How could this be good news? King David finally found me. I don't know if he wants to kill me or to put me in prison. I lost so much sleep trying to think of any good reason on why the king would summon me. And I couldn't think of one. Why? Well, looking back, my posture towards King David was that he wasn't for me. And if you think a person or a group of people is not for you, you won't give them the benefit of the doubt. And so I didn't give King David the benefit of the doubt. And so they forced me, they carried me, they put me on a donkey to travel to Jerusalem. Every step the donkey took was I got closer to my wretched life ending, probably by some bloody execution. And so they brought me to this palace, and they told me to wait. And I waited, and I was so scared. I don't know if you've ever met King David before, and they'll tell you that maybe to bow to him, to show respect, maybe to fall on your knees. Well, that's not what I did. When I saw King David, I just collapsed to the ground. I begged him for my life. And then he told me this. He said, I made a promise to your father Jonathan, and I summoned you here so that you would know that you have all this inheritance. I was like, what? the farmlands, the cattle, the apple orchards, the buildings, the servants. All of that is now mine. And he also said, I will always have a seat at his table. I knew he wasn't joking. And so I wanted to know why. Why is he doing this? And please don't judge me. Please don't laugh at me. But this is what I said to King David. I said, why are you doing this? I am a dead dog. That's a reflection on how I saw myself 3 months ago. But David, he didn't see my brokenness. What he did is he called me by my birth name, Meribbaal. It's the first time, and I can't remember how long. Everyone was calling me Mephibosheth, but he called me by my birth name. Do you know what that means? Do you know what he did? He was giving me dignity. He was saying, I see your value. What am I trying to say? You can't love generally. You always have to love a named person who has a past, who has a present, and who has a future. David didn't see me as an enemy. He didn't see me as a rival. He saw me as a friend. In fact, he went on to say that I am a part of his family. And that I would always have a seat at the table of grace. I came to Jerusalem, to this palace, expecting death, expecting maybe to be put into prison. But I got surprised by David's invitation to his world of grace. Since I've been here 3 months, I haven't missed a meal yet. Partly the food is amazing. In fact, I hear my stomach growling right now. I can't wait for the next meal. But really what I love and why I don't miss a meal is because when I'm at his table of grace, I don't feel my brokenness. Did you hear what I just said? When I'm at his table of grace, I don't see or feel my brokenness. Well, word got out 3 months ago of the radical kindness that David did to me. And I don't know if it's true yet, but I heard that the prophet Samuel, or maybe it's the prophet Nathan, or the prophet Gad, that they are going to write down this story. So all of you, all of Israel, and for future generations would know about the act that David did to me. David is kind. If you haven't met King David, expect kindness is coming your way. But the kindness that David showed to me was from how God, the true king, was kind to David. And David wanted to honor his word to my father, Jonathan, by honoring me. And David's kindness is just a glimpse of the wide and vast chasm of God's kindness and grace. Now, I've mentioned grace a couple times already. Grace is a religious word, right? There's all these misperceptions about grace. I saw God through the filter of shame, the shame that I felt, the shame that I was feeling by other people. But the last 3 months, I've begun to see God in a new and fresh way because of the grace that I've experienced from King David. My new friends, we just met 20, 25 minutes ago in this palace. If we don't truly see who God is as he really is, how can we ever truly see ourselves? Now, I have told you a lot, way more than I thought. But I love telling this story. Not just for the sake of you. Maybe this has encouraged you in some way. If so, God be praised. But I love telling the story for me to taste and see the lavish grace of the King's grace. Oh, I love it. I love reflecting upon how God has grown me, how God is changing me. And so if it brings any encouragement to you, that's great, but I love telling this story. May I never get tired of telling the story of grace, how I was summoned by the King. And I would urge you, if you've never said yes to the invitation by the King, I'm not talking about David, the King. I'm talking about God, your King. God, your wonderful maker. If you've never said yes to his grace, or maybe you've drifted away and you're here and you're like, yes, I resonate. I need to say yes again to this world of grace. Grace needs to shatter the lies that I believe, the false ideas. God's grace needs to work in my life to bring about the healing that I need to experience because of my past hurts and wounds. That I would urge you to say yes. And if you do say yes, don't keep it to yourself. Don't keep it to yourself. Did you hear that? I think I hear the King's voice calling my name. I better get going. But first, let me tell you, I don't know how long you'll be here in the palace, but you may hear whispers that there's a son of David, and he's going to establish a kingdom that is going to be everlasting, never-ending, unshakable. I don't fully understand that, but I long for it. It makes me wonder, how will this greater son of David be different than King David? And how will this greater son of David be the same as King David? If you ever say yes to the invitation of God your King, that you would be seated at his table, don't keep it to yourself. In fact, as I leave, because the King is calling my name, maybe some of you spontaneously will want to share your story of grace. Because when you live in the kingdom of grace, you will have not just one story, you will have a lot of stories. And maybe there'll be a couple of you that want to share this story today. I hope you do. You see, just at the right time, when I was helpless, I was broken, I was powerless. I was living and loving the blame and bitterness and a victim mentality. That was me. And I was summoned by the King. as I think about what will happen in the future, about this greater Son of David, some of the prophets have prophesied that this greater Son of David will come at just the right time, when you and I and our future generations are helpless and broken and powerless, and we're loving our sin. We're loving the false ideas that we have about ourselves. And he will come, this greater Son of David, will come and live the life that you and I can never live, and die the death that we deserve, and will offer an invitation to you and to your children and to your grandchildren to say yes. And they will live in the world and the kingdom of grace. And they will hear what I am a testimony of, and what I hope you say yes to, is that you, by the King's grace, are invited to sit at the table, that you are a part of his kingdom. You will be a part of his family. What King David did to me, the God, your King, wants to do for you. But you need to respond. And so may my last word be a blessing to you. May you taste and see how the King loves you with a loyal, unshakable love. And may his lavish grace always, always, always be changing you from the inside out. Shalom.